A war submarine doesn't resemble an ordinary ship. There are no wide windows, no visible horizon, no sense of open space. Everything is enclosed, narrow and functional. Every centimeter has a purpose. When the submarine dives, the outside world disappears completely. There is no natural light, no fresh air, only metal, machinery and deep silence. For those inside, the ocean isn't a view. It's constant pressure pressing in on the hull. Routine begins even before the dive is complete. Hatches are sealed one by one, their metallic echoes carrying through the vessel. Each closure strips away another layer of escape. Once submerged, there is no quick way out. Everyone knows it. Discipline is strict, because a single mistake by one crew member can endanger everyone. The internal space is extremely limited. Corridors barely allow two people to pass. Bunks are narrow, often shared in shifts. There is no real privacy. Everything is shared. Smells spread quickly and never fully disappear. A blend of oil, heated metal, sweat and recycled air. The sound of machinery never stops. Even when the submarine is running as quietly as possible, vibrations remain constant. A low, continuous hum follows every minute. At first it feels like background noise. Over time it becomes impossible to ignore. The body learns to sleep with it, but it never truly rests. The lack of natural light distorts your sense of time. Day and night lose meaning. Artificial lighting remains constant. Hours are marked only by duty shifts and meals. Gradually, the mind loses its external reference points. The world above begins to feel unreal. The air inside the submarine is continuously recycled. It is never fresh. The sensation of breathing air that has already been used never goes away. The systems work, but the body isn't fooled. After days underwater, breathing feels heavier. Oxygen is present, but it never feels quite sufficient. Food is basic and limited. Everything must be stored for long periods. Fresh fruit and produce vanish within the first few days. What remains are repetitive, practical meals designed only to keep the body functioning. Eating stops being a pleasure. It becomes routine maintenance. Hygiene is minimal. Water must be conserved. Showers are quick and infrequent. The body adapts to discomfort. Personal smells merge with the general atmosphere. There's no escaping it. The submarine carries everything with it, including the physical signs of confinement. The greatest weight, however, isn't physical, it's mental. Knowing there are hundreds of meters of water above the hull changes how the mind works. Every creak of metal is noticed. The hull adjusts constantly to external pressure, and these sounds are normal, yet they never stop being unsettling. Outside, silence is absolute. No waves, no wind, no visible movement. Just a vast, dark, cold ocean. Inside the submarine, every sound feels amplified. A dropped tool, a poorly closed hatch, a slightly raised voice. Everything carries weight. Training prepares the crew for this, but reality is different. Drills simulate failures, fires, leaks. In practice, each exercise is a reminder that at depth, mistakes don't allow easy correction. There is no immediate help, no rapid rescue. Tension rises when the submarine enters high-risk zones, monitored areas, conflict regions, places where silence is essential. Movements must be calculated. The submarine must become invisible. Every decision is made with extreme caution. During these periods, the environment grows even quieter. Lights are dimmed, conversation fades, focus becomes absolute. Fear isn't spoken aloud, but it's present. Everyone understands what's at stake. Time behaves strangely. Hours feel like days. Days feel like weeks. Monotony blends with sudden spikes of intense tension. That contrast wears down the mind. There is no space for full relaxation. Sleep is never deep. Even when the body is exhausted, the mind stays alert. Any change in the sound of machinery demands immediate attention. True rest feels impossible. Small conflicts emerge easily. Confinement amplifies irritation. Simple words carry extra weight. Self-control is essential to prevent larger problems. British discipline helps maintain order, but it doesn't erase emotional strain. The constant awareness of danger creates a permanent state of alert. Even without direct combat, risk is always present. A technical failure, a human error, enemy detection. Everything can change in seconds. When the submarine reaches great depths, external pressure is extreme. The hull is engineered to withstand it, but the human mind reacts differently. Knowing that steel is the only barrier between life and the ocean affects everyone. Some crew members cope better with isolation. Others feel the weight increase day by day. Thoughts drift to the surface, to sunlight, to open air. Those thoughts are quickly pushed aside. They don't help survival down here. At this stage of the mission, the submarine no longer feels like a vehicle. It becomes a closed world, where time, space, and fear operate by different rules. And the longer it remains on the ocean floor, the harder it becomes to remember what life was like outside that steel hull. As the days pass, confinement begins to affect everyone differently. Some crew members grow quieter. Others talk more than usual, trying to fill the emptiness. The submarine doesn't allow emotional distance. Any change in mood is noticed quickly. Forced closeness turns small habits into constant sources of irritation. Even so, control has to be maintained. The mission comes before personal discomfort. Technical faults are part of daily life. Lights flicker, systems trigger alerts, valves need adjustment. Most problems are dealt with quickly, but every fault carries a heavy psychological weight. At depth, there is no margin for error. Even a minor issue can escalate into something fatal if it isn't handled in time. When an alarm sounds, the silence breaks abruptly. Hearts race. Training takes over. Each crew member moves almost automatically. There's no shouting, no chaotic rushing, just fast, precise actions. Fear exists, but it cannot be shown. Fire is one of the greatest fears. In a sealed environment, flames consume oxygen rapidly. That's why any unusual smell is taken seriously. A simple short circuit can put everyone at risk. In those moments, the recycled air feels even heavier. Leaks are another constant danger. The ocean exerts immense pressure on the hull. A small breach can allow water to force its way in at terrifying speed. Drills simulate this scenario again and again. Even so, knowing it could happen for real never stops being tense. During these emergencies, the feeling of being trapped intensifies. There's nowhere to run, no alternative exit. The only option is to solve the problem right there, in the dark, under pressure. The ocean doesn't wait. Mental fatigue builds faster than physical exhaustion. The mind stays on constant alert. Relaxing feels dangerous. Even in moments of apparent calm, the body remains tense, ready to react. Sleep becomes even lighter. Any unfamiliar vibration draws immediate attention. Some crew members go long periods without real rest. The body keeps functioning, but mental clarity begins to fade. Total isolation from the outside world weighs heavily over time. There's no real-time news, no direct contact with family. All that exists is the inside of the submarine and the current mission. The world above feels distant, almost unreal. During long patrols, monotony becomes as difficult as danger. Days pass with no visible events. This forced calm increases anxiety. The mind starts imagining problems before they exist. In high-risk areas, tension rises again. The submarine slows. Silence becomes absolute. Any noise could give away its position. Even internal movement is controlled. The atmosphere grows heavy, almost suffocating. In these moments, waiting becomes torture. Minutes feel like hours. Every external sound picked up by sensors is analyzed with extreme care. The possibility of detection never leaves your thoughts. When there is contact with enemy forces, even at a distance, everything changes. Risk stops being abstract. Decisions must be made quickly. One mistake can lead to a direct attack. The idea of being attacked at depth is one of the greatest fears. There's no way to escape quickly. The submarine can maneuver, hide, evade, but it can never truly run. The sense of vulnerability is total. Even without direct combat, the mere possibility keeps everyone in a state of extreme alert. Silence becomes almost unbearable. The mind works relentlessly, anticipating worst-case scenarios. Over time, many crew members develop a strange relationship with the submarine. It is both shelter and prison. It protects you from the ocean, but also prevents any escape. That contradiction takes an emotional toll. When the order to surface finally arrives, the reaction isn't immediate joy. There is relief, but also caution. The danger hasn't completely passed yet. Tension fades only gradually. The first noticeable change is the air. Even before the submarine is fully opened, simply being closer to the surface brings a comfort that's hard to explain. The body reacts before the mind does. At the end of the mission, many crew members leave the submarine in silence. There's no exaggerated celebration. The experience lingers. The confinement, the waiting, the fear don't disappear quickly. That's why being trapped in a war submarine on the ocean floor was so difficult. Not just because of the physical risk, but because of the constant strain on the mind. The threat didn't need to happen. It was enough to be there, surrounded by water, steel, and silence, waiting to find out whether everyone would make it back to the surface.